To Russia now, where after the red carpet, the fanfare and the guard of honour for China's leader in Moscow, the 48 hours of talks between President Putin and President Xi ended with a joint statement with both declaring China's peace plan for Ukraine as a way forward to end the conflict. The 12-point plan calls for peace talks and to respect national sovereignty, but it doesn't specify that Russia must withdraw its troops from Ukraine. And President Putin described the meeting as a new era of ties and claimed the two nations have virtually completed a deal on a pipeline that would reroute gas from Europe to China. Well, I was talking earlier to our correspondent in Beijing, Yena Lee, who gave her assessment.
Moscow has, in its final statement that it signed with Beijing, said that it has reaffirmed its commitment to the resumption of peace talks, and this is something China appreciates. And Moscow also welcomed China's willingness to play a positive role. So we see here a lot of patting each other on the back and a repeat of statements we have heard before here in Beijing about the dangers of bloc confrontation and an opposition to unilateral sanctions. Putin supports the Chinese approach, which is one that does not call for Russia's retreat from Ukrainian territory and is unlikely to be welcomed so positively by Kyiv. But despite this glaring omission here in China, state media has put a lot of focus on Beijing's role as mediator with this trip by President Xi to Moscow. The nationalist tabloid, the Global Times, puts out an editorial just after the presidents had their long talks, and in it they write the US and NATO's inflammatory remarks and actions add fuel to the fire, and they need to be counterbalanced by peace forces, aka China. They also add that China's stance and actions are on the right side of history, end quote. Beijing is trying to position itself as a global peacemaker, and who knows, perhaps a few stern words were exchanged behind closed doors, but that's a big hypothesis. Right now, all we're seeing is President Xi Jinping legitimizing an alleged war criminal, becoming the first head of state to shake hands with him and walk down his red carpet just after he has received that ICC arrest warrant. And just to compare, in stark contrast, a regional foe, Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, was in Ukraine in a surprise visit, shaking President Zelensky's hand on that same day.